Good morning. It is Writing Wednesday. We're going to do some writing in the real world and look for commas in the wild. How do we use commas? And let's see how people are using them. I went to the New York Times and found this article. Let me share it so you can have a look. It is, I thought, this looks really interesting. Stronger muscles in 3 seconds a day. Sounds good to me. So when we're looking for writing in the wild, I like to find things that are interesting and not too controversial, but something that is kind of fun to look at. There's enough serious, heavy stuff out there. So let's look at some other stuff. Before we get started, my name is Marina Gabor. I am with summitwriting.academy, where you can learn to be a better writer. And part of that is being able to recognize things out in the real world in just regular print every day, wherever you are. And then you can transfer that skill, that knowledge into your own writing. So we want to take that writing in the real world and then find good examples of it, and then we can imitate. So stronger muscles in 3 seconds a day. Yes, please. Right? But we're going and we are looking for commas, and you can go and read this article for yourself. I will put it in the comments so you can go and have a look. And I've pulled out a couple of excerpts that we can look at. So let me share that screen with you. All right. So when should you use a comma? And we're actually going to look at 5 places. I have 3 examples that have used them all. Stronger muscles in 3 seconds a day. Perfect. So there's a couple of places where we should use a comma. In a series, before a coordinating conjunction, to set off an interrupter, after an introductory element, and to set off additions at the end of a sentence. And you might think, how am I going to remember all of those? It's okay. We're going on. It's kind of like a scavenger hunt. Have you ever been on a scavenger hunt where you have a list of things that you're going to look for, and then you set out and you just search for them, and as you find them, then you check them off your list. So here's one that I found in that article, after an introductory element. So in the study, comma, men and women who contracted their arm muscles as hard as possible for a total of 3 seconds a day increased their bicep strength by as much as 12% after a month. So that's kind of cool. But what we're looking for is the comma in the wild, and this introductory element in the study, the comma helps set that apart. So when you're doing your own writing, if you have an introductory element, put a little comma and then keep going. And if you contract your arm muscles as hard as possible for 3 seconds a day, your biceps will get stronger, apparently, by 12%. All right, now this one has several commas and for several different purposes. So just because you see a comma doesn't mean that it is used in the same way for everything. So I'll read it and then we'll discuss what the commas are used for. I have written about the unique ways in which our muscles, hearts, lungs, and other body parts respond to 4 seconds of strenuous biking, for instance, or 10 seconds of all-out sprinting, and how much super short workouts can trigger the biological responses that lead to better fitness. Lots of commas. So the first set of commas, I have written about the unique ways in which our muscles, hearts, lungs, and other body parts. So there we have a series, and we're listing off a series of things, and they need to be separated by a comma. Now, there's an Oxford comma, and they're not using it here. Sometimes people like to also put a comma before and. So that is a stylistic choice. Now, let's see, where's the next comma? Oh, do you see this, for instance, here? Oh, whoops, back here. Where it says, for instance, that is a little interrupter, or a little positive, like they're adding something and breaking up that sentence. Or 10 seconds of all out sprinting, and then before this coordinating conjunction. So and is the coordinating conjunction, and we have a comma before that. And how such super short workouts can trigger the biological responses that lead to better fitness. So sometimes we need commas for a bunch of different reasons, all in the same sentence. Now, what about this one? But almost all of this research focused on aerobic exercise and usually involved interval training, a workout in which spurts of hard, fast exertion are repeated and interspersed with rest. So this comma, well, there's two here. One is just that hard, comma, fast. It's not really a series. It's just breaking up the descriptors. But what we want to look at here is we have this sentence, which is a complete thought and independent clause, but almost all of this research focused on aerobic exercise and usually involved interval training. We could stop right there. But they put a comma and added some things at the end of the sentence. So that's another reason why we can use a comma, or a place we can use the comma, is to add something at the end of a sentence. So again, when should you use a comma? In a series, before a coordinating conjunction, to set off an interrupter, after an introductory element, and to set off additions at the end of a sentence. And now it's your turn. So I invite you to have a look at that. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. There we go. Have a look at that article. And I will go back to the article so you can have a look at it again. This Stronger Muscles in 3 Seconds a Day. Go look at it in the wild and see where the author has put commas. You'll notice that I just started scratching the surface of the places where the author used commas in this article. But as you go through, you can see, oh, they're not all used for the same purpose, but they're used to clarify, to help you as you are reading, to make it interesting, easier to read, so that the sentences don't all have to be the same length. Where can you find commas in the wild today? I invite you to put them in the chat if you find interesting sentences that are using commas, or create your own based on the examples that you see out in the wild. Until next time, keep writing.